Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Saur, Darkchylde, and welcome back to Let's Replay Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. Last time, we started the first day investigation of the final case in the game. He learned that Iris, one of the nuns at the temple, was being accused of murder. The head nun is a bit worried of her because she ordered her to keep an eye on Maya after ringing the lights out bell. Despite that, the defendant herself said that she never left her room. Then we had to question what's his name? Larry, who sent us a simple letter that was meant for Iris, only we kind of mistook it for a blackmail letter. But when we tried asking him for more questions, more Cyclops appeared. So I guess we're gonna have no choice but to bring him onto the witness stand for our first day in court. February 9th, 2019, 9:47 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1.
Oh my, Mr. Lawrence feels that way about me?
Apparently, he isn't aware about your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed.
I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing.
Worry not. In any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him.
Does that mean Mr. Lawrence is a witness today?
No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand.
Sister Bikini.
She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. Was it really you who killed Elise Doxnim, correct?
That's correct, it wasn't me.
Very well then.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes?
You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed...
Don't worry. I've made the necessary arrangements.
I see.
Iris. It is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people, and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend once told me.
Mr. Edgeworth.
I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been entrusted.
Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands.
Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Husakura Temple.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case.
Indeed.
I'm not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to provide their case. It would seem this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. I am ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant...
Objection!
The prosecution stands ready.
And you are?
Franziska von Karma, prosecuting prodigy.
Von Karma, you say? Perchance, you wouldn't happen to be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma?
Legends are nothing but the past. I am a von Karma, that is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purpose of prosecuting this case.
You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor?
I am almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once.
I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor.
Ms. von Karma, do you have anything to say?
There is no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office.
There isn't? But I'm sure...
I told you, there is no such weakling.
What is that, a whip? I'm not sure I care much for such a thing in my courtroom. But bailiff, remove the whip and...
Hold it!
I have no objections to the whip.
You don't?
The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. But there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. This promised to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I had expected to face Phoenix Wright here today. But looking at you now, maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you, who slipped through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic.
Allow me to head to the things I am not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court.
The stage is set. Now, continue with the proceedings, Your Honor.
Very well. Ms. von Karma, please give an outline of this case. With as little whipping as possible.
The murder victim was the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Stockton. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue.
The sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo of the crime scene.
There is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to a crime.
Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand.
And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. Witness, state your name and occupation, please.
Hold on there. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care about this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight.
If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain plagued witness.
Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please.
Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little old me. Well, I'm the head of the Hasakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. Got it? Bikini. Nice to meet you, everyone.
But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. What?
The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with mercy in their hearts should leave the sanctuary at once.
You want me to leave?
No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way my dear little Iris could do anything like that.
Let us hear what you have to say, then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh?
The night of the murder. That night I was hoping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. So, I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to the Hasakura Temple. There's no bath in the inner temple, well, you see, and I needed a long hot soak. It was just after I had finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it.
So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning at Asakura Temple.
Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There is only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you aren't about to fall at the first hurdle, now are you, Miles Edgeworth?
Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination.
That night I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but... What is this inner temple? Well, you see, conversing with the spirits is what we train people to do, right?
We'll be the ones asking the questions, madam.
In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual power is required. There's a small temple across Dusky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training. And how exactly do you help with these process? It's all quite exciting. It can't be performed without a nun supervising. Like a tutor watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. A tutor with a whip in your case. If that is the case, then why did you return to Hasakura Temple, where the murder took place? Well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. Violently? That's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife or fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training. On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again? That's right, raging like a bull in a pig pen. And I almost fainted once or twice. I just knew that unless I warmed up, it was going to finally finish me off. So I left Iris to help with the acolyte and returned to Hasakura Temple.
Objection!
Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all. Well, don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all. The head honcho of Hasakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No! The defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is clearly lying to cover her back. But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hasakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make her much more better alibi. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie.
She does indeed have honest eyes.
Wah! All people lie. That is my belief.
Why am I the one being whipped in here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means we must call your memory into question.
Dear. You're older than me, yet you want to play that game, do you?
Well, isn't that exactly what
My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter.
Then, I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me more decisive piece of evidence.
Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick.
Then please add to her comments about Iris to the testimony. And let us return to the cross-examination.
Iris came to the inner temple. She was dressed exactly as she had been for dinner.
Objection!
Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Of course. It's a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute. Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's quite the question of the day, isn't it, Ms. Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the iris she saw should have been missing this very hood. Well. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look in Mr. Wright's eyes every time he does it.
Order in the court. Witness. Ah!
Sister? This hood. You have spare ones around the temple, do you not? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them.
I see. A stockpile. A surplus of hoods, eh?
Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned.
Then this is quite strange.
Wah! If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There is no contradiction here. I'm sorry to break this to you, Ms. Von Karma, but you won't get away with it that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human's heart. The seeds of doubt.
Witness? While I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Those seeds are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. After my bath. I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and Iris was, oh my mystic Elise. And with that sword of all things. Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out into the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out the window.
You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Ms. Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in the court. And me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that.
This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I committed on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name? Can't you do something about that habit of yours?
Gesundheit.
I finished my bath at around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. How far is it from your room to the inner temple? Let me think a moment. About 20 minutes. on these stubs of mine. It's about 15 minutes to Dusky Bridge from the Hazakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond the bridge. Still, you never made it back there that night, did you? That's right. I was heading along the walkway towards the main hall. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard and took a look. And? You say you heard a noise? Thump, just like that. That could only be the sound of the victim falling. It's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can even hear the snow falling from the branches. Thump, just like that.
But then, couldn't this noise, as you heard, been from the snow falling on the ground?
I never thought of that.
What?
The next one to lax gets a whipping. Well, whatever the source of the sound, I looked over at the courtyard and... Iris was, Mystic Elise. And with that sword of all things. This is the second time that the witness has testified to seeing this defendant. But some doubt remains in these claims. Hey, what does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to... The murderer stabbed the victim with the sword. Sister Bikini, try to recall exactly who you saw as clearly as you can. Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that has been bugging me all this time. Please, don't keep us in suspense. Her hood! Her hood? That's right. It's coming back to me. Iris, she wasn't wearing her hood. I thought something was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right? Huh. You dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth.
What do you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Is this testimony important?
No, not important. This line of questioning is only going to tear the wound open further. These statements are as useless as the investigations of a certain detective. There is no need to record them.
Very well. Please, continue with your testimony.
Mystic Elise was staying in her room, staying in the corner room, which faces out into the courtyard. The room the victim was staying is overlooked at the courtyard, correct?
Which means the victim's room was on the second floor.
No. Asakura Temple is a single-story building. But the mountain itself slopes downward, which elevates the main gate side of the temple and the guest room in the back to about the height of a two-story building.
I see. And the victim was staying in one of these elevated rooms, correct?
Yes, I should know. I'm the one who carried her things to her room after all. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out the window.
Objection!
Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say, anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Ms. Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed.
That's right. It says after death right here.
The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim, her in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall?
Order! Order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree?
That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And she was then thrown out of her window down into the courtyard below. Where there are many signs of a struggle. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Duxton's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a blood stain, wouldn't you agree?
Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood?
No traces of blood were found in the victim's room.
Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. However, if there was no blood in the...
I'm sure there was no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure Your Honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood.
When it produces the most blood?
Very little is actually lost the moment of the blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from the body, that would be when the blade was removed. Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts as a lid on the wound.
That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking.
I have come to the conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions.
Order, order, order! I must admit that this is a probable version of events.
I'd expect no less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point.
It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all suspicion on your part, and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please, remain standing on the crate.
Don't go selling me out short now. The weight of winter's snow has bent me out of shape. Especially my back and my mood. Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a very vigorous massage once we are finished here.
With the whip.
Oh boy, alright.
Further details.
When I looked across the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. I never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Mystic Ami was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back.
Mystic Ami? This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory.
Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth.
Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska Von Karma. And I'm here to teach you just that.
When I looked across the scene, the sword was already in place.
At that time, was the victim bleeding?
Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all of this, of course, so I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think I saw any blood, not then. I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug for the wound.
In any case, let's clear here on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed?
Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise.
Think carefully. This is very important.
It's Iris we're talking about here. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. No. When I looked over, the sword was already in Mystic Elise's body.
It must not be conclusive. It might not be conclusive, but this testimony supports her theory.
The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth. I've never seen so much blood before.
So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood?
That's right! Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room. And her blood-feckled clothing was neatly folded in the corner.
What? Her clothes were blood-feckled as well?
That seems quite conclusive to me.
What should I do? Press this point further?
Yeah.
Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed, but now you say that the victim was bleeding?
Well. Oh, I say that what I saw is what I saw.
What did you see?
Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day.
Pulling the sword out?
Well, it wasn't exactly pulling, it was more like, come out!
It was more like it came out.
Witness, you will add this statement to your testimony.
Oh, was that important?
More important than you can imagine.
That was the instant in which the blade, plunged into the hilt, was smoothly drawn out.
Objection!
Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here.
Well, what do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about?
In the sense that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are completely impossible.
What do you mean? Please explain. Explain yourself!
To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how you look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that.
Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble. I too may appear to be a weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep, should I choose.
The objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit.
That isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly.
That's...
We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when the blade is left in the body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is stabbed like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would appear too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding.
That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with a shikashito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly, and it may still sometimes stop the blood loss.
I'm not finished. There is still one more conclusive contradiction.
You still got more?
This one is simple. If the sword really was thrusted in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it?
Ah!
If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood among the entire length of the sword.
No!
Order!
Bravo, Miles Edgeworth! Freezing this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence? All of the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that.
But what does this all mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but...
Having come this far, there can only be one answer.
And that is...
the weapon used to kill the victim was not the shikashito.
What?
A foolishly foolish idea born from a foolish mind of a foolish-heartedly foolish fool. Let's explain this again. And what was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon? Well, it's because Mystic Ami was holding it. Exactly. However, if you reflect on that, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong that it was influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shikashito was the murder weapon. Order! So maybe the Shikashito was not the murder weapon? Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object.
That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth?
If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises.
The obvious question?
Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us to if a sword-like object was found. That's...
Answer the question, Miss Von Karma.
No evidence of that kind was found.
Another mystery to throw into the pile. A trail without a murder weapon is a tricky beast.
Excuse me, can I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was it was just over there.
What exactly are you going on about, sis here?
The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe. I think I might know where the sword has disposed of. You what? Well then, I think we need to hear testimony from you once more times, sister. Impossible! What else? What else could this old woman have seen? Location of the weapon. I saw the murder around 11 p.m. After asking that it was reporting, and I went out to the main gate. And there, I saw tracks. Tracks that indicated the snowmobile has been moved. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 on one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all.
Witness, please tell us everything you know. Right away next time.
Well, I'm not the best of shape. What with my back and my age, you know. Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here is a photograph.
A snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory.
The tracks begin in front of Hasakura Temple and run all the way to the Dusky Bridge. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over the winter, making it the perfect place to dispose the murder weapon.
Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon?
Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please.
I saw the murder at around 11.
You sure about that time?
Yes, I was worried about it after all.
Why was that?
Because I have a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time year. The acolyte was being doused in freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night now, can I? So at 11, I decided to leave Hasakura Temple.
Her estimation of the time seems reliable, at least.
Please continue, sister. And after seeing that, and after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate.
You asked me this right to report the crime, correct?
Right. Ain't the one who trampled me.
It seems she is the type of to hold a grudge.
There isn't a phone in the main hall, so I sent him to the bridge. Phoenix right. He didn't even have his cell phone on him.
He had forgotten it at home, apparently.
What a naive boy, as always. Not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in hand too. Anyway, I was really scared, and it was taking him a while to come back. So I thought I'd go out by the main gate for a spell. And there, I saw tracks. Tracks that indicated the snowmobile's been moved.
As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited.
That's it. That's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls.
Now, you're certain the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived?
Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the gate. So, she had already gone, discarded the murder weapon, and returned by that time.
I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? I'll stop here for now. It looks very likely that the snowmobile is related to this case. I can't help but think that Iris used it, but for what? I'd rather hold off on this for now.
Well then, witness. How long does it take to reach the bridge by snowmobile?
It takes about 5 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 on one of those.
In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself from walking.
There's a reason for that. Have we got a moment for me to explain?
I think that's why the question was asked in the first place.
It was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile happy as can be. I'd fetched some water and was heading back when I went and crashed into a tree. The tree and my back both went crunch. Just like that. Crunch!
Crunch.
I haven't been able to find the courage to write anything since then. Anyway, the killer must have used it. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back before anyone found out.
Hold it!
Refresh our memory. How long were you knocked out for? Like I said, somewhere between 10 to 20 minutes. It's possible to get to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile. I have to concede that this is more than enough time. Is that all you wish to concede, Miles Edgeworth? Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all.
Objection!
I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? What do you mean? Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be two set of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge, and those from coming back. Ah! You're right! You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction, does it not?
I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow.
What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in her theory? The idea of that snowfall all covered the tracks? There is a contradiction here. The tracks in the river were covered by snow? What a nice theory. However, Ms. Von Karma, that is impossible. Would you care to explain? Why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me.
On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge in order to dispose of the murder weapon. The outgoing tracks were erased by snow, or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow.
Take that!
Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. Like I said, it was around 11. Of course. This means that the weapon was thrown by after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder.
The weather report?
The snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up.
Order! Order! Very well then. It looks like Ms. Von Karma's claims have been snowed in. Ah!
It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this then. When is a weather report ever correct?
No. Oh, you've got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast. This is actual data.
Forecast, data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m.
It's true. We cannot be totally sure for it, eh?
What? How did she pull that off?
It had stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this.
I've come this far. There's no turning back now. Very well. I too cannot allow any doubts to remain concerning this testimony. You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth.
Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where is your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed?
Easy.
Take that!
Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in the courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, but proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered in snow, with just one exception. And that is the victim herself, Miss Alix Dusnim. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed, that's why. In other words, if the killer he did go to the Eagle Mountain to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph there should be two sets of tracks.
Order! Order! Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all of the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading to Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow. Then, when the person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow is stopped. Thus the return tracks remained. Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There is only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder, which can only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to get to the inner temple. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge, so Iris must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot.
That sounds about right.
But what's odd is when I left Iris and returned to Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe. But when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too. But that isn't possible.
Order! Order in the court! What does this all mean?
So then, what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be two set of tracks in this photo. We all know... All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble.
I think we've learned all we can from this witness.
Yes. I have nothing more to add. I've told you everything. Everything that I know.
But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile.
A witness, huh?
Was there no one out walking perhaps near Dusky Bridge on that night?
I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that. Unless they had something really important to do.
That's a shame.
Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out on the subarctic night. Your Honor, actually, there just might have been one individual who may be of help to us.
Really?
You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are two things about him that do come to mind.
Which are?
First, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And the second being, this individual that I'm thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot.
Mr. Ratchworth, who is this idiot you're talking about?
Take that!
This guy must be a part of Jean-Luc Delancey's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting.
This is Larry Butts, disciple of the victim, Elise Duxnam.
Her student? Interesting. And why was he wandering about outside on the night of the murder?
I could tell them about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was perhaps searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him. Although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man, what exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him right here in this courtyard.
Summon this youth as a witness immediately!
I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him.
Very well.
Larry, you may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you.
The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Ms. Von Karma, please eat the preparing for the next witness.
Understood, Your Honor.
Good. Very well then. Court is now in recess.
And that's where we're going to be stopping for now. When we come back, we will be cross-examining Larry for what he saw on the night of the murder. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment if you want. Ring the bell to be notified when our next video comes out. All of this helps us to make our channel grow, and so you guys can have more videos to enjoy. We do new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and occasionally Saturday and Sundays. Till the next video, this is Saur Darkchylde, signing off. Have a good night, folks.